for St. Louis.
Working with President Biden, Cori has brought home over $2 billion to St. Louis.
I can confirm that the Department of Justice is reviewing my campaign spending on security services.
In less than 3 months this year, Cori Bush spent nearly $70,000 in campaign funds for her own personal police force. And at the same time as she was surrounded by armed bodyguards that donors were paying for, she was calling for you to lose your police protection.
So you're saying that you're saying that they're paying their fair share is what you're saying?
No, I'm asking what percentage is a fair share?
Their fair share, the same, if a third of my money is going to taxes, then I think a third of their money should be going to taxes. It does. Well, it does.
So where do you start with Cori Bush? Who knows? Who knows what end to start with? She's a mystery. She's probably one of the most corrupt members of Congress. As you can see, she's being investigated on a couple fronts right now, one of which is how much she spent on security and legal costs as well. Also, the other thing that I had a question about is that she is bragging about, and I showed that clip from her new ad, that she was like, I brought in $2 billion from DC and injected it into St. Louis. And I was like, no, you voted against that because that was $2 billion from the infrastructure bill, which you voted against. Okay? Why Cori Bush voted against the Biden infrastructure bill? Right there. Okay, so I don't understand what she's saying here. And in fact, people are refuting it. They're saying, which you voted against, Cori. So let's take a look at that. I'm curious, I guess at this point now, you just outright lie. And so let's take a look at this. So it didn't get much better for her. You were a terrible candidate. Yeah, so that's her ad. And she's saying that she brought $2 billion, and I love that she's delivered more than $2 billion for her district. I don't think that ever happened. She voted against that to bring the $2 billion in infrastructure to St. Louis. And then she's of course running for re-election, but she's not doing well at all. She's down by a lot. And I think this has to do with her stance on pro-Palestine, like standing with these crazy protesters and activists, these idiots. I mean, that's her cup of tea because that's pretty much all she's got. In fact, there is a thing here that says, what has Cori Bush accomplished? It's just a Google search. And it says, in 2011, Bush established the Kingdom Embassy International Church in St. Louis, Missouri, and served as its pastor until 2014. She became a political activist during 2014 Ferguson unrest, during which she worked as a triage nurse and organizer. Well, probably a self-declared nurse, right? Where she said that she was hit by a police officer, which I don't know if I believe that. So she is the epitome of the cosplay LARPer right now. She's LARPing as somebody significant. She's not. And she's definitely, how would you say, definitely a baby mama. She's just out for herself. She's out to get as much money as she can from the system under the guise of being a socialist or squad member. And there's some of the nastiest members of U.S. politics ever to exist. Rashida Tlaib, Cori Bush, I think Presley, she's not in the picture, but Presley, that bald black chick, she's in there too. These people hate America, by the way. So let me get back onto track here, but there's so much to say about her and how awful she is, like how awful her perspectives are and what she's done. I mean, she's being investigated right now for spending on security and also using campaign funds for her legal defense. It's just a mound of problems. So let's continue here. So yeah, she did vote against that $2 billion. I don't know where she got that idea. And somebody said, I'm proud to have delivered more than $2 billion of your taxpayer money for our district. I'm sure you meant to say that. But on the other hand, again, I don't even think that's right. She voted against it. So delivered it to whom, Cori? Who did you give taxpayers' money to? Your hubby for security, special interest? Cori Bush is down 16 points to her primary challenger. Let's all make sure that number is 32. Wow. She's sucking wind big time. What have you done that has made St. Louis better? We will patiently wait for your response. Yeah, so remember when Cori pretended to be homeless, surrounded by Oreos, Cheez-Its, and other expensive snacks? I remember that too. They were, I don't remember what it was, but her and I think AOC, they set up this kind of homeless looking thing out. It was the worst, absolutely worst staged thing I've ever seen anybody in Congress ever do. She put like a lazy boy chair out there and some trash and a tent and a couple of things out on the steps of Congress. And then she sat there for like 24 hours and ate snacks and was like, this is what it's like to be homeless, see? I'm like, yeah, but what have you actually done though? Like rather than do these little cosplays and LARPing on the steps of the Capitol, have you written a bill? Have you passed a bill? Have you done anything of significance other than activism? But these people don't know any other way than activism. And that's why when I looked up that thing, it says, Cori Bush, what has she done? Mainly just an activist. Mainly somebody who drums up chaos, drums up anarchy, goes to Ferguson, and probably was paid to agitate those riots. I bet you $1 million because she's a puppet. She's paid to agitate, just like the rest of the squad. They say they're socialists and all this stuff, but really they're champagne socialists. They want everything for them. Remember, Cori Bush, she's always been ridden on this trope of that I'm poor and I'm from the ghetto. She's worth, what, $10 million now? AOC's worth even more. So I see socialism for us, which is you guys work and make sure that the money keeps flowing to us. But I don't see socialism for them. Rules for thee, not for me, that type thing. So, yeah, I remember she did that to bring to light the homelessness problem, sitting on the steps and eating surrounded by some supporters, some nut jobs, complete nut jobs, eating like Cheez-Its and all that stuff and having some sodas. And then saying, this is what it's like to be homeless. And she whipped up some tears. It was pretty awful. I couldn't find the video within the time that I had, but I showed enough videos at first to give you an idea of who Cori Bush is. And she can't do basic math. That is true too. Bill says, you're running for power and money. Vote her out. It looks like that may be a possibility. How much did you give your husband for security? And here it is right here. Representative Cori Bush is under investigation after hiring her husband as security. Confirmed Tuesday, as you saw, she confirmed, Department of Justice is investigating her campaign spending on security services. Since before I was sworn in office, I've endured relentless threats to my physical safety and life. This is the typical trope of an activist. An activist goes out there and they actually threaten people's lives. They threaten their physical safety. They continuously do this. They agitate and then they project and they tell as soon as somebody attacks them, they say, oh, you're threatening my physical safety. Words are violence, which literally they aren't. They are literally not. So she likes to do that. And that you'll see AOC do the same thing. It's a typical, it's in their quiver of defense that they do when they go out there and they support protesters tearing stuff down, spray painting stuff, beating people up. These people are the paid agitators right here. AOC, Presley, Cori Bush, Rashida Tlaib. They very much encourage violence. And, that from all appearances, that's what it seems like. And so as soon as somebody accuses them of that, they go, hey, wait, I've endured threats and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, I don't actually believe that. I very much don't believe that. So she says, as a rank and file member of Congress, I'm not entitled to personal protection by the House and instead have used campaign funds. Okay, let's get to the point here. She says she's fully cooperating She has retained her now husband, a convenient thing. Sounds like a more of a marriage of convenience, as part of her security team, and claims he is able to provide services at or below market. Let's see. She said, well, it doesn't say how much he's getting, but perhaps it was a lot. I think it was a lot. We'll get back to that because it was a lot of money. So they say it's not billionaires trying to get rid of Cori as much as she'd like to pretend they are. Okay. She thinks, yeah, there's people attacking her from the right, money from the far right, or money from Jewish organizations. Well, you're right. No, it's actually Jewish organizations in support of Jewish Democrats that are funding the campaign against her. And the man running against her is this guy right here, squad Democrat getting blown out in primary race as DOJ ethics investigation rages. Bush is behind her main primary challenger, Wesley Bell, by 22 points. Okay, when was this? February 20th. Holy crap. In a New York Post poll reported earlier this month, she's also behind him in cash on hand. Her campaign's most recent filing showed $215,000 in campaign chest in January, while Bell had $405,000 as of December, according to Fox News. Bell, who's also considered a progressive Democrat, differs from Bush when it comes to the Israel-Hamas war. That's the key difference. Bush has been one of the staunchest critics in Congress of Israel's response to the October 7th attack, while Bell has stood with Israel's decision to defend itself. And that's really where it all ends up, is he's getting money from AIPAC and Jewish organizations as well, and he's getting a lot more. And it's all comes down to the most divisive issue among the left right now is the big schism is, do you support Israel? Do you support Palestine? Do you support Jews? Do you allow Jews to walk on campus? This is splitting the left in half. And people like Bill Ackman, some other investors, they're leaving. They're pulling their money from these universities for their stance on the Israel-Hamas conflict. So anyway, so Bruce Weingart says, enough with your dark money, billionaire, anti-Jewish dog whistles. It isn't billionaires who are going to oust you. It is Jewish Democrats like me and non-Jewish Democrats who are tired of your hate. We are grassroots mobilizing for Wesley Bell, one individual at a time. Well, anyway, we'll see how this goes for her, but things are just not going well for the squad, period. But they seem to get a monolith of activists, destructive activists behind him, and especially Rashida Tlaib. She's got Islamists and people who have no interest in seeing the United States of America be a better place. I'm pretty sure about that. And so, yeah, she's trying to defend herself now, but she's losing hardcore at this point. And I have to keep ducking because this I have my light in my face here. Anyway, so yeah, let me know what you think, and I'll